So, Jesus Christ, right? I mean, for some people, just a swear word, they use it as a curse word. But for an awful lot of people, something much more than that. In fact, Jesus Christ, whatever you think about him, is maybe one of the most important people who ever lived in the history of the planet. There's a point in the Bible where we read about Jesus where he says to his followers, "Who do people say that I am?" And his followers are like, "Oh, people say that you're a good prophet or you're somebody sent by God, a kind of a messenger from God." And the people who thought that at the time are not unlike people who think that today. A lot of people think good things about Jesus, that he's a good prophet or a good teacher or a good example. Even the Quran, which is the book that Muslims use as their holy book, it mentions Jesus 25 times. And it says he was a good prophet, a good teacher. Jesus then, in the bit in the Bible where he's just said, "Who do people say that I am?" says to one of the disciples, or the disciples said, "Who do you say I am?" And Peter, who's one of his followers, says, "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." Much more than just a teacher or a good messenger, but somebody who is actually God himself. When you think about who Jesus is, this Jesus Christ, you kind of aren't really given the choice in the Bible to say he's a good teacher or a great prophet. One way we know that is in Matthew chapter 17, and it's all over the Bible actually, just after where he asks, "Who do people say that I am?" where Jesus says, "Truly I say to you," and it says again and again that Jesus says the words "truly I say to you" in the Bible. And you think, well, why does he say this? Well, it's because the prophets said something different. When they came to speak to the people, they said, "Thus says the Lord," or in old words, "Thus saith the Lord." They're like, we're passing on to you God's message that he gave to us for you. But Jesus never does that. He says, "Truly I say to you." I don't need to say, "Thus says God," because I'm God himself. There's a point comes for the disciples where they've got to really decide, who is this Jesus? There's an episode in Friends, the TV show Friends, where Chandler gets a roommate called Eddie. And it becomes quite clear, although Eddie is quite normal and fun at the beginning, that actually Eddie lives in a slightly different reality than other people, and Chandler gets increasingly worried about him. The stranger and stranger the things that he says, the more Chandler realizes, I don't really want to have a roommate who acts like this. And this point comes for the disciples, where they might be thinking to themselves, it's time for us to move on here. It's recorded in Luke chapter 10 in the Bible. And they come to Jesus, the disciples, and they say, "We've gone out in your name and we've been able to get rid of demons from people by just saying we've come in your name." And they say, "How is this possible?" And Jesus says to them, he replied, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." What? Come again? "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." Jesus responds, he says, "I can do this because I was there before the material universe was created. I predate the material existence around us. I'm not any normal person. I was there. I am God himself from the very beginning." Jesus Christ? Who is he? Not some good teacher or prophet. He either is somebody who was there from the very beginning, or he's something else altogether. Who do you say that he is?